Starting a business from desperation can fuel intense focus, but it can also lead to poor decisions, turning urgency into disciplined action and sustainable growth. Coming up.
The dealer download powered by RS&I.
Welcome to the Dealer Download powered by RS&I, where authorized dealers in fiber, wireless, smart home security, satellite TV, and residential solar get the strategies to grow. I'm your host, Michael Shiverdecker. Today, we're exploring a topic every entrepreneur confronts at some point: starting a business out of desperation. We've all heard the stories of founders pushed into entrepreneurship by necessity, kicking off a venture because the alternative was worse. And sometimes the urgency inspires grit, creativity, and focus, but desperation can also distort decision making and trigger short term thinking. This episode is about how to harness drive without letting panic dictate strategy, and how to build something that lasts even when the pressure feels real. Entrepreneurship scholars distinguish between two kinds of motivation: opportunity-driven and necessity-driven ventures. Necessity entrepreneurs are those who start a business because they lack better alternatives, often during difficult economic times. Opportunity entrepreneurs start a business because they see a favorable opportunity. Necessity entrepreneurship tends to rise when job markets are tight and people feel pushed into self employment. This pattern shows up consistently in economic downturns. That doesn't mean desperation is inherently bad. It can spark immediate action and resourcefulness, but research suggests it can also negatively affect how entrepreneurs recognize opportunities and assess risk, because the pressure to survive can overshadow strategic thinking. People in a desperate state often rush decisions to generate short term cash flow. They cut foundational steps like market research. They adopt aggressive or needy sales tactics. They focus narrowly on survival instead of growth. Prospects and clients can sense desperation, even unconsciously, and it can push them away rather than attract them. This dynamic shows up in sales interactions as over-pitching, over-promising, or aggressive follow-ups that feel too eager. There's a difference between urgency and desperation, and buyers respond differently to each. Motivation matters. Researchers find that entrepreneurial passion, an internal drive toward goals and growth, is linked to sustained effort and resilience in entrepreneurs. Passion fuels persistence, but what it must be paired with is strategic thinking to avoid reactive or fear based choices. Meanwhile, fear, self doubt, anxiety, common companions of desperation. They can distort perception, lead to decisions that protect short term survival, but undermine long term potential. Desperation shouldn't be a curse, it can be a catalyst, but the fuel has to be channeled properly. Channel upward instead of inward. Use urgency to increase activity, generate ideas, make calls, test offers, without letting anxiety dictate strategy. Urgency should drive action, not anxiety. Focus on value, not need. Even when you need revenue, your customer doesn't want your need, they want their problem solved. Value driven conversations always outperform need driven ones. Prioritize ruthlessly. When time and resources are limited, focus on high payoff activities that generate cash flow and build credibility. Customer research, product marketing fit testing, early revenue conversations, lean operational execution. This is an example of personal initiative, proactive behavior that overcomes obstacles and advances towards meaningful goals. Seek advice and grounded perspectives. Desperation distorts your view of the world. Outside counsel, mentors, advisors, or coaches provide grounding and help you avoid blind spots. Research and seasoned advisors often recommend building a business while you still have safety and stability. such as maintaining a job or a side hustle, before it becomes a do or die scenario. This lets you think longer term, validate ideas gradually, build reserves and confidence, avoid panic driven decisions, retain flexibility, and reduce pressure. People who enter entrepreneurship from opportunity motives tend to have more growth oriented ventures and broader strategic focus in the long run. That's not to say necessity entrepreneurs can't succeed, but it means success often depends on how well the individual manages pressure and keeps strategic discipline in place. For your dealer action plan, here's the practical guidance for anyone feeling forced into entrepreneurship. First, take a breath. Immediate pressure doesn't cancel long term strategy. Second, define your value promise. Focus on what your business delivers, not what you need. Third, prioritize ruthlessly. Do only what moves cash flow and builds credibility. Fourth, get external perspective. Speak to mentors or advisors to avoid panic decision traps. And fifth, build with strategy, not survival. Don't skip foundational steps like research, planning, and customer feedback. Success isn't about surviving one day, it's about thriving over many. Some believe a healthy dose of urgency can spark momentum. Others advise that planning, preparation, and strategic discipline are better foundations. Whether you're starting out of passion, necessity, or somewhere in between, the key is to use pressure as a motivator without letting it become your commander. If you're building a business right now or thinking about it, make sure you're building it with direction, value, and discipline, not desperation alone. Stay connected with RS&I for guidance, insight, and support on your business journey. Visit rsiinc.com and subscribe to the Dealer Download. That's rsiinc.com. I'm your host, Michael Scherbedecker. Thanks for tuning in.
The Dealer Download, powered by RS&I.